Welcome to Hebrew Interviews. My name is Dr. Trevor U. Dennis. This is the Ministry of Pillar of Faith, and we are so glad we could have you with us. So tonight we have got the man, the ministry, and the documentaries. This is Stephen Graham Project's evening. So we're going to be talking to him in a little while. He's just coming along. So in the meantime, I want to just let you know a couple of things. This Hebrew Interviews is designed in order for us to have people who have substantial experiences, people who have skills, people who are doing something, the movers and shakers of our community. We interview them so that you might know some possibilities. All right. So these possibilities begin to surface. We've had doctors, we have had people who are into health. We have had lawyers. We have had ministers. We've had bishops. We've had normal people. Hallelujah. We've had people of all kinds come along. So before we get into it, I want to say some hello in a minute. So make sure you write and say hello to me so that I know that you are out there. This is going to be a great interview. Now, some of you know who Stephen Graham is, and some of you don't. I'm going to let him introduce himself in a little while. But before that, we're going to let his work do the talking. Hallelujah. So let his work do the talking, someone says. Ooh, wow. So let's see, what have we got here?
This is not the Holy Land, what they call Israel, Palestine. This is Africa. This is Africa.
You've done a great job being able to demonstrate that this is Northeast Africa. And once we begin to look at it as such, and we stop believing this idea of Israel being a part of the Middle East.
Go here, and I want to show you where Israel sits on the African tectonic plate, which means that Israel is northeast Africa.
What do you mean Middle East? Is there an Upper East or Lower East? What do you mean Middle East?
Most of the blacks there.
I want to stop there. I want to stop there. It seems as though the forces that be are just working against that particular broadcast right now. I don't understand why, but it's kind of plain funny when it shouldn't. But he done that. Northeast Africa. Northeast Africa is where Yasharal really is, sitting on the African tectonic plate. Let me try another video and see if we have the same problem, because it's not just one thing this man has done, it's several things. So let's see how this one goes. This too appears to be playing up, so I'm gonna just leave it alone. Northeast Africa. He has done several videos. Let me just call up his work so that you can see it. Stephen Graham. Projects. I recommend you try to go to his page, Stephen Graham Projects, and see what you find. You're likely to find quite a few things that may indeed interest you. If you look, you'll see Northeast Africa, the hidden truth. You'll see the Moroccan Jews of Mogado. You will see Israelites in the Western world. You will see Northeast Africa, and you will see is Tel Arad, the real Jerusalem. These are all things Chicago to the UK, the streets, ancient language, Moray William Brown being interviewed. These are things that you need to be aware of. You need to be aware that these things are being developed not by an American, not by a European, not by an Asian, but by our very own diaspora population. Stephen is from the island of Jamaica originally. I'm not sure whether he's born in Jamaica or whether he's born in England. Likelihood is he's born in England and brought up in Jamaica. But we're going to find out just as soon as we begin talking to him. Now, I want to know, what questions do you have? What questions do you have that you would like me to put to Stephen? So I ask you that now so that you can write them down, and our people, our moderators, will pick them up. So what questions do you have right now? Let me say a good hello while you're thinking of your questions. Good evening, Sister Judy and Sister Yvonne. Good evening, Tesfa. Good evening, Devon. Good evening, Big Wheel Ben. Good evening to all of you out there who haven't said hello yet. Please do say hello. Please do say hello. Now, you all know that I did an interview with Brother Ron Dalton, who is another filmmaker. And I am doing this one today because Ron Dalton's a giant in filmmaking concerning our people's history, as is Benaiah Israel. If any of you happen to have any connections with Benaiah Israel, why don't you write to me at HebrewApostolic@gmail.com. I would really love to interview that man. He has done some great work, just like Ron and just like Stephen. So, what is it that you want to ask Stephen Graham? Let me see some questions coming through, and I'd really appreciate that if you write some questions down. Write some questions down as quickly as possible. Write them down. Write them down. Now, Stephen has promised me he's going to be here shortly. He's been held up a little, so I'm waiting for him to come in so that we can begin the interview. But in the meantime, let me tell you a little bit about our ministry at Pillar of Faith. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Dr. Trevor U. Dennis, and our ministry of Pillar of Faith, has a number of strands. First of all, we have our prayer ministry, which tends to go out on what's that one that everybody uses. The one that everybody uses. Yes. Help me here, folks. The one that everybody uses. Can't think of it right now. But there's a streaming service that everybody uses. Just about everybody it is. Good evening, Robert. Good evening, Mikal. Good evening, Zion. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And so on a Friday night, we go out prayer to the earth realm. And if you want to be a part of that, not YouTube, the other one that people stream to and use all their meetings on. So we stream on Friday, and you can be a part of that. On Wednesday, we have our Bible studies. And right now, we are dealing with the book of Joshua, the Joshua briefing. Oh, yes, Zoom. Thank you very much, Sister Yvonne. Zoom. Thank you very much, Mikal. Everybody uses Zoom. So Friday, we Zoom it. On Wednesday, we're back here, 7:30, and we do our Bible study, our Bible overview night, where we do the Joshua briefing at the moment. On Thursday a.m. early in the morning, which is Wednesday nighttime if you're in this States, we do our Paleo Hebrew classes. On Thursday evening, which is Thursday afternoon in the States, we do our home Bible study class. Right now, we're dealing with the battlefield of the mind, the warfare you go through in your mind and how to overcome it, what things you can do and what promises Yah has made on a Thursday. On a Friday, that's when we do the intercessory prayer with Elder Mark. And on Shabbat, we're here at 10 a.m. in the morning. Now, we also go over to Lark, as Sister Judy said, on a Shabbat, because on a Shabbat, we have an in-house discussion which everybody in Europe or the UK can join, but not America. Unfortunately, Lark is not allowed in America, but in the UK, it's fine. And so we have a good discussion there. We can use Lark, we can use Zoom, and we choose to use Lark as our private forum for meeting. Now, our ministry is a Hebrew apostolic ministry, meaning that we choose to identify ourselves as Hebrew or Israelite, and we choose to believe the doctrines or teachings of the apostles and disciples of Yahushua HaMachiac. That's Jesus to some of you. Now, as we do that, we find that the Bible is very, very clear about what he wants, the Most High, and what he doesn't want. Now, so if you have any questions, this is a great opportunity to ask. Ask your questions, and I will answer them. All right? I'll spend some time answering them before our guest turns up. I don't know where our guest is right now, but he's told me that he would be a little late. So it could be public transport for all I know. All right? So any questions? Any questions? If you don't have any questions, then I'm going to think about something and get on it for a little while. For a little while. So I was watching someone. Hell. How many of you out there believe that hell is real? Hell is real. How many of you believe that? Just let me know. Give me a thumbs up or a no, a Y for yes, and an N for no. Y for yes, N for none, for no. If you don't believe in hell. Let me know now. In fact, the Bible in the New Testament is very full of hell. In fact, I'd say that that's probably Yahushua's number one topic is hell. Yes, yes. I got 3 yeses. Any more? Respondents. Do you believe in hell? Yes or no? Yes or no? You see, it's important whether you believe in hell or don't believe in hell. This is a little thing that went on online. Somebody talking about hell and saying it was not so, and that it was just created by the Euros to deal with making us obedient. But hell is found both in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. You knew that, right? But when you look up the word Sheol in the Old Testament is what you'll find when you look it up. And in the New Testament, you'll find two words. You'll find Hades, which is like land of the dead or the place of the dead. And you will find Gehenna, which means like the valley of Hinnom on fire. But Yahushua talks about hell so much, and he talks about eternal fire. Now, most fires burn and then they burn out. But apparently, hell, there's kind of two descriptions of hell. One is a place that is dark and yet still hot, and the other is a place of fire that burns forever and ever. Forever is a word that is often associated with it. So let me just see if I can, if this thing. Sometimes you hit the wrong button and the wrong stuff happens. Well, ay. Shabbat Shalom, Elkin. I'm looking for stuff on hell. I think my guest has just arrived. So just while he's, calming himself down, I'll just have a couple of words more on this hell thing. So hell, the three words, Sheol, Old Testament, Hades, which is an idea from the Euros in the form of the Greeks, and then a place called Gehenna, which is tied back to the Old Testament. When Yahushua is speaking concerning hell, he makes it clear that it's a place where it's going to be burning forever and ever. This eternal fire is that thing that is used. Now, if it's going to be, as some people suggest, a couple of atom bombs dropping, then that won't meet the description that Yahushua, that's Jesus, uses. Why? Because it has nothing to do with eternal. It won't burn eternally. It's burned for a long time, perhaps. Hiroshima burned for a while, but it doesn't burn forever and ever. Now, so you've got to get it in your mind that when you look at things, you have to look at what the Bible says and fix your faith on what the Bible says. That's it. Nothing else. Don't worry about what people and groups and organizations teach. Just ask yourself, what does the Bible say? And what the Bible says is what the Most High says. So we've got our guest, and he should have had a moment to calm himself down because he's been rushing. So let's bring him in and begin. Hallelujah. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Shalom.
Shalom. It's great to have you with us. Stephen Graham, you missed out the projects bit because we're gonna get on that projects tonight. It's good to have you, my brother, and it's a pleasure meeting you. I met you not very long now, but I really appreciate the camaraderie. So tonight is your night. Remember that program, This Is Your Life. It's kind of like that. So we're going to just relax into it. So why don't you introduce yourself to the world and tell them who Stephen Graham is?
Stephen Graham, first of all, Stephen Graham's a documentary filmmaker. He's an author, musician. I do music, personal trainer, kickboxer, teach knife defense, work with young people, I do quite a few different things. Yeah, that's the name a few. I just do. I'm a person. I'm about my community. I'm about the youth. You know, most of all, I'm about the Most High's work still, and about helping to educate and enlighten people in regards to different aspects of this. Hence why I do many different things. I don't believe in this concept of jack of all trades and master of none. I believe in we can master many things. I don't believe in being one dimensional because we're not natural. We're not one dimension is not by nature. We're not one dimensional by nature. So I'm a multi-dimensional person because nothing works one dimensional. Well, nothing really good that works one dimensional. Nature itself don't work one dimensional.
That's
And the body itself doesn't work one dimensional. So I
That's
can't
right.
focus on one thing only. It just doesn't seem realistic and natural for me. So I do many things because I just believe it's natural way of life. So that's what I do. That's just me in a nutshell. Yeah.
That's right. Well, scripture says, to whom much is given, much is required. So we're expecting a lot. Whoops. We're expecting a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, we're expecting a lot. So in terms of birthplace, where were you born? Tell us about where you were born.
I was born in London. I was born in here, London. I was born in London.
And were you brought up here as well?
Yeah, till I reached a certain age. When I reached 15, I went to Jamaica. Well, I was sent to Jamaica, forced to Jamaica.
Well, you were born in London. What part?
Yeah, West London, Northwest London.
Okay.
Northwest. Yeah.
And you went to Jamaica. What
Yeah.
happened next?
What happened next? I spent a couple of years in Jamaica, couldn't settle down, had to leave Jamaica and come back to the UK. I came back when I was 19, and then I went again, and then yeah. So I kept going back and forth.
You came back to Jamaica when you were 19. You're clearly
Came
not
back from Jamaica to England. Back to England when I was 19.
Sorry, to England when you were 19, and
Yeah.
you're clearly not 19 anymore.
No,
you're what we call a big man.
Look at them, but yeah.
Yes.
Feel it, definitely feel it, heart, mind, and soul. Feel young, feel healthy, feel strong, feel fit, like a figure. So yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I still ought to be 19. I'm cool with that. I'm cool being 19.
So how'd you get into youth work then? Tell us about that.
I got into youth work technically because of my personal experiences. My personal experience. I got into youth work because of my personal experience, to be honest. My personal experience in life, which is something I don't hide, it's something I share with the young people so they can understand, especially because people see me some people say, you're like a good role model for us as a youth. You are, you've done a lot for the streets and you change your life around. But for me, I got into it definitely more just for that because I grew up in a very traumatized home as a young person. I grew up in had a very rough experience. And going forward, the things I went through and being incarcerated myself, I was incarcerated twice, in fact. I believe that, going through my tribulations and trials that I went through, which again, when you look at the things that we're going through and the current status of our people, we have to bear in mind we can actually biblically understand what's going on. The family breakdown is actually written in the scriptures, where fathers and sons would be at war at one another. You'd have, dismantled families, broken families. You see biblical scriptures. Deuteronomy speaks of the traumas we go through as a people, which is also actually passed down from family, from parents to child. Which again, some of that rubbed off on me in a very bad way and a very hard way. I went through a lot, and then that situation caused me to, like I said, be incarcerated in Jamaica for a pretty long time. And
so who brought you up then?
Huh?
Who was responsible for bringing you up, for your upbringing?
Well, technically, my mum brought me up till I was 15, sent me to Jamaica to try. She literally took me out of the country for my best. In her eyes, it was best for me to not be here because I was getting myself in a lot of trouble as a youth. This is what my book's about. My new book that I released. It's about that. I just released a new book, right?
Yes, I'm aware of the book. Hope you got a cover to show people.
I have one in my. I forgot to bring one with me. I just rushed.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. We can always post it.
Yeah.
So you went to Jamaica, and who was responsible for you there?
In Jamaica, where I was sent. My mom didn't want me in Kingston because mom's from Kingston, so she didn't want me in Kingston because Kingston can be very violent at times, and I was running from England because of violence and because I was a very troubled child. So she sent me to my stepfather's family, who I didn't like him. So naturally, my back was up. Again, as a traumatized person, you're literally gonna have your back up against a people if they belong to a certain set of people. So I start acting with the young kids nowadays. When the kids say to a person like, "You're from a certain area," naturally they have their back up against a person because you're from an area. That the same situation what I went through. that kind of situation where my back was up against his people anyway. So even though, and I won't blame all of them for what I went through when I was out there in Jamaica, but at the same time, I didn't really give them the full trust because of my circumstances with my stepfather. That makes sense. So so when I was there, I went for a lot of experiences in Jamaica between 16 and 19. I ended up coming back. I had to come back because things were getting a bit crazy out there for me. Just like similar situation was going on in the UK was starting to happen in Jamaica. And my mom was thinking about sending me to her family in town, but I made my own way to Kingston as an English youth. I didn't know where I was going or how, but I'd made my own way to Kingston and set a family, and yeah, things went kind of crazy. So mom was like, you just need to get back to England. And I came back to the UK, and then she passed away on me. So I didn't see her since I was 15, and she passed away on me. When I came back, I was 19. She passed away the same week I came back. She fell into a coma. Spent a month lost in the coma till in fact she died. The day she born. She stayed in the coma till the day she actually born, and then she died.
Sorry to hear that.
Huh?
I'm sorry to hear that.
My ancestor now, so it's not even it's a thing of, before, I look at it like she transitioned to the realm of the ancestors, isn't it? And remember, she lived in like the Bible says, you don't drink blood. You're not allowed to drink blood. It's written we don't drink blood, but we have to understand the reason why we don't drink blood, because the blood is the life of the body. And we understand the blood is the life of the body. We understand that deeply. Your family, your people don't really die in it, because your blood, they live in you. You get me? Your ancestors live in you. You know what I'm saying to you? So on a deep perspective, I know my mother's not really too. She's physically gone, but essence is always with me. You feel me? Because my blood and her blood is my same blood. You get me? So we understand when we look at the deepness of the scripture. We're talking about don't eat the blood. You pour the blood onto the earth because there's life in it. That's why I was given for atonement. You get me? So
yeah,
me on a deep perspective, like my mother's still with me still. You understand? Understanding certain things. But my mother did equip me with a lot of knowledge when I was little. She equipped me with knowledge because
I was just going to ask you about that. That as far as I know, your mom was the one who helped you to understand your identity.
Yeah, from I was little, we grew up knowing we was Israelites. But to us, that was nothing. I'll say that and I'll say it honestly. I don't want to pretend. Like I can pretend to people and make it out, but like say it in a glorious way. But I'll be very honest. It mean nothing to me when I was little. Like when I was little, I grew up. My grandfather always said he was a proud black Jew. That's why my first documentary, Northeast Africa Hidden Truth, which has got like over 30,000 views on YouTube. I tell people that when I dedicate to my mum, because my grandfather always said when we're little, from a little grew up, they said we're Jews, but to me, growing up in England, no one's saying that, and you're not hearing that concept. My mum's name was Juanita. So you're not hearing no one saying these things. My family. If you go on YouTube, if you go on my Facebook, you see my family's name. I was like Kohen. These are my family's surnames. Kohelet. Like these are family surnames you can find on YouTube. My family's names, Kohen and Sukhai, and them. We had like this is like, but for me, it didn't mean nothing to me. Growing up, I didn't. Henny or like a Jew. Like what's a Jew? Like you hear about Rastafarianism and Pan-Africanism, and you get me. And that, and tried a lot of people around me is Rasta still anyway. So you're not really. And plus, I'm just young in it. I'm not really thinking about that. I'm wild in it. I was a street youth, so I didn't really care. So to be honest, I'm being frank. It's only when I was incarcerated the second time that I really sat back and looked at everything that mum said to me. Do you get me? And then I really started reading properly, and I really take scriptures for serious. I had a lot of time on my hands in it. So I'm in prison. I had a lot of time on my hands, and I started reading the book. I read the whole Bible twice. Genesis to Revelation, the whole Bible, every page, word for word, no skipping. You get me? Twice.
That's the way it's supposed to be read. That's good.
Yeah. No skipping a page or nothing. And then I sent for a Hebrew text and told myself to read biblical Hebrew myself. And it was, but it's like that moment in time and that reflection. I had to really look at things that I heard when I was little. I thought to myself, this is really me. And then I started humbling myself in prison still, the most I humbled me. But like I say, back to the blood, like I don't really, as much as mom's transition to the Roman ancestors, I know she's always with me. You get me? In regards to my blood, my ancestors, they're always with man.
She's a part of you.
Yeah.
So your family today, you got some children. You married? Are you married?
At this present time, no.
No. You got any children and so on?
Yeah, I have children. I got lovely children. I got beautiful. I got sons and daughters.
How many have you got?
I have a few still. I don't really do my children's stuff. I really don't, because I used to put them on Facebook and things, but I kind of took off a lot of them pictures and that.
That's why.
I don't really go public with my family still, because I'm more just keep my family.
You're not going to tell us how many you have. We want
Oh,
to
I
hear.
don't know how many. Yeah, I got 6, but I just don't
Well, I
really
thought
got
you was
4.
going to be like Father Abraham. Yes.
No,
Got a
yeah,
lot of nations.
yeah.
There's
Well,
our brethren got nations.
definitely, nation child definitely must come from us still. You get me? But yeah, that is my children. My children, my words. That's my word. You know, that should have been man's word. My children. That's why I took a little longer, because I said to you, I called you as my daughter.
Uh-huh.
You're just bringing my last little one back home still.
Wonderful.
Because, yeah.
Wonderful. So you discovered your biblical identity from when you were young.
Yeah, from when I was young. But
Tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey.
But I didn't act on it. When I was a little you, I was more into Rastafarian faith, which again, no disrespect to Rastafarian faith, because Rastas, many people don't want to acknowledge this, but the Rastafarian faith was actually the first of the people in the Western world to start referring to themselves as Israelites. So I don't let go my Rasta roots. You get me? I still hold on to what my uncle them and everybody was showing, man. I still respect it. Like I told my autobiography, because when you look at the history of Rastafarian, if you study the history of Rastafarians, in 1930, when Tafari was crowned Emperor of Ethiopia, you had people in Jamaica who had dreadlocks before Tafari was crowned. So the movement only became Rastafarian movement because the Garvey said, look to the east will come for a black king. But if we study our history, our true history of Jamaican history, understand the history of Jamaica, going back to Spanish Inquisition, the Portuguese Inquisition, which is going back to 1100s, you know that Jamaica was a place that they were sending Israelites there a long time before any Christopher Columbus and all that kind of foolish history that we've been taught. See,
most people don't even know that. People.
Let's give it real history what's going on in Jamaica. So I don't mind experiencing that. I've got a documentary coming on, but I've got a documentary I'm doing on that soon. It's gonna blow the world. Like
Benaiah Israel did something on that too, which is that the Portuguese Jews
he's amazing
were just like us,
and
that the Portuguese Jews were the ones that they sent off to the Caribbean and to South America.
In fact, Benaiah Israel, the one you're talking about, who does a documentary, the hidden Hebrews and that, he's the one that actually gave me a few references recently. So let me shout him out for that, because he gave me some new references for my documentary. Because I actually helped me some references for my documentary about Jamaica. Because
he's
a lot of people
doing some great work.
Yeah, he's doing amazing work. A lot of people understand about the history of Jamaica. Jamaicans acknowledging themselves as Israelites. It predates goes back a very long time. But of course, a lot of people are caught up in modern day construct of Christianity and just living the street life and got caught up in politics and all type of stuff that's been happening in Jamaica. But like I said, there was people in Jamaica who held to themselves and called themselves Israelites. But again, when the Tafari came in as crown Emperor of Ethiopia, them said that people became Rastafarians. And anyone who has understand of Jamaican history, if you look at Jamaica, the old picture of Jamaica, you'll see when Tafari was crowned 1930. Before he came to Jamaica in 1966, if you look at 1930, you see Rastas, then they were Rastas. You see black people with dreadlocks.
Dadalocks, it's called.
Yeah. So you have to understand, like, that history of knowing themselves is like, that's why even Rastafarian movement, they still held on to that is that concept, but they say themselves Rastafarians now. But when you listen to their music, they say we're Israelites, we're this, we're that. When they talk, they say we're Israelites. So they kind of blended the two, if that makes sense. So the true foundation of their history was there, but it was still messed up and a bit confused. Do you get me? But yeah. So for me, I held on to the Rastafarian faith as like I was saying as a youth, but I wanted to express that because I think a lot of people don't understand the history of where the Rasta movement really came from and how it's from its purity of before the whole Tafari situation.
Okay. So you got a hold of Rastafarianism. What happened next on your spiritual journey?
My spiritual journey, my spiritual journey was always in time with the streets. I'll be real with you. For my youth, it's always in time with the streets. Like, my spiritual journey has always been in time with the streets. I was always street. Like, I'm gonna be 100. Like, I got a book coming out. My book out. I mean, I can't lie about my life. Do you get me? And plus, like I say, a lot of people look at me and say, "You're Romulo." Cool. I don't really worry about labels and that. That's irrelevant to me. I don't really care about that. But for me, it's like I want people to understand where I'm coming from to the person I am today. That if I can do it, like you can do it too. It's in us to become the best we can be. I'm still on my journey. Do you get me? But I want you to understand, like out here, because I still believe many young people are still on the streets. A lot of them have their potential to be the greatest warriors for the Most High.
Okay. So what was your involvement with Christianity?
As a youth.
Anywhere in your journey? Have you had any?
My mom was like a judo Christian. She sent me to church as a little youth. I went to church 1-2 times. As a little youth. Yeah, I went 2 times. I'll be honest with you, I used to go walk slow to go to church. Didn't want to, listen to nobody. I was that kind of person. I was a very wild child, you know. I was a very wild child.
Okay. So at what stage did you get involved in Islam? Because I know you got involved in Islam.
Did I get involved in Islam? What stage? That actually happened when I came. I read a bit when I was in prison, and when I came out of prison, that's when I really really read the Quran. Because for me, it was about Torah foundation, and studying the what you call, well, for me, it's Tanakh. Some people call it Old Testament. I don't call it Old Testament.
Tanakh, yeah.
Yeah, Tanakh. For me, 100% Tanakh. I don't call it Old Testament. And for me, my Tanakh foundation. So even though that's why I said when I was in prison, I read the New Testament, but I read the Genesis to Revelations twice. Then I sent for Hebrew Tanakh to read the Hebrew Tanakh by itself, and then looking at words and understand the etymology of words, and then that's what I did. And then I went back into. Then I did a little dabbling in the Quran when I was in prison. When I came out, I read it properly because I wanted to. For me, it was like this: the Abraham path is Abraham's one man, and one man had one path. Mm-hmm. And if you go by scriptures, even from Tanakh, he gave his sons a specific order. But yet today you have so much confusion in regards to, you have so much denominations within called Judaism, Israelites, Christianity, Islam. But it's all based on one man. And I'm like, geez, a one man can't create so much confusion. How is it man just confused? You get me? Mm-hmm. So my spiritual journey has led me to say, yo, you know what? As anything in court, if you go in court, if you go into a court, our house, or even the Bible says, don't be a false witness, don't it? And if you go in court now, you can't go in court basically saying that man said this or that man said he saw this happen. You have to be, I know this happened. You get me?
I saw it.
Yeah,
I heard it myself.
So the man who starts judge against something else and doesn't know it is actually being false witness. Is actually not true in his spiritual truth. You get me? Mm-hmm. So for me, it was important that I start read the Bible and read the Quran and read everything. So when I make my statements now, my statements is firm, solid, because I've done my research. You get me? Mm-hmm. So for me, it was vital. I didn't want to be like the false witnesses and that boy for witness against other things and don't do my research on it. So it was important that I took a dive in the Bible and took a dive in the Tanakh. I read the Hebrew scripture myself, and then I went into and I've done research into even the Talmud. I done research into the Quran because it was important for me to get that surplus knowledge. So when I'm going forth and I'm presenting myself with the facts from the scriptures or whatever I'm talking from. Instead of someone saying, because I mean many people say, even like Islam, they say, oh, Islam started with Ishmael. I'm like, what? And then people say like, Islam started with Muhammad brought Islam. I'm like, what? Like, these are all man-made conversations. The Quran doesn't speak none of this stuff. So I'm like, again, this is a straight false witness, and you're lying to your own self. And like I said, for me, the most I dwell within myself, innit? So I'm not going to join a man's confusion.
Okay. So then you've done this research and you come into the awareness of being an Israelite. How has that impacted your life?
How what? Being an Israelite impacted my life?
Being an Israelite.
How's it impacted my life?
You're now being able to read from the Hebrew scriptures who you are and what it really says. How has that impacted your life and your faith?
In many ways, being the Hebrew scriptures impacted my life in many ways. You know what? Even when I was a little youth, when I think about it, the Hebrew scriptures has always impacted my life. And let's discern wisdom. Even if I wasn't walking the best of roads, the most I know I've been through as a little youth. Yeah? The amount of things I've been through, I shouldn't even be alive today. Just say that. But God, the most I know is for a reason why I'm here and why He loves me. You get me? And the fact that I've done through so much in my life, turn my life around, humble myself big time, I could have created mayhem in this country, not even if for but I could have created mayhem here, or even Jamaica. Just my book speaks for itself of my history. And there's a million people who verify for my things. But yet, that's not my path. I've humbled myself. I don't even like the word humble anyway. I don't humble myself because my spirit is what I come in the world. I come with a warrior spirit. I just transfer my energy into the right way, because when you think about it, King David was a warrior from his little boy. David was a warrior. In fact, his brothers called David a haunted child, right? King David was known as a haunted child. When he's guarding the sheep, he'd use his sling and lick down to lion and them thing there. He was a haunted child. Now think what I'm gonna say to you. I understand where I'm coming from. I understand levels. David was a haunted child still, but then David turned around and said, he turned around and he goes, it's like when he dads didn't bring the food for them at the battlefield, and David's like, yeah, I'll go. I'll bring the food. And he brought it. His intention to bring the food. But his brother's the first thinking, you just come because it's war in it, because it's war. So they already have of David that you just like seeing problems. You just like this kind of, you have that
excitement. Yeah.
You have that aggression spirit. But here what no? What did the Most High do with David? He chose David to do what? Lead his people. And he didn't watch David's like haunted spirit, or what they said his brother said David was a haunted spirit. The Most High knew that David has a good heart. And Most High, I judge the heart. I don't judge that man. I judge the heart. So Most High chose David for these righteous, and David was a great warrior. So I'm saying that spirit he came into the earth with, that warrior nature he came in for, he loved from his younger, that he came to earth with that. The Most High just tamed it and dealt with it in the right way. But you get me? So he didn't lose what he come to earth. So I never come into earth as a local youth that's going to be a weakling. I came into earth with that energy as a warrior, but I've just tamed it. Now I think about it, the things I've done and what the scriptures have done for me is over the years I've gone traveling places and countries that people have never done. I made by the grace of the Most High, but I've done things. Even my travels to Israel, people understand. When I first went to Israel, it was a 6-day war going on, and everyone saying to me, "Don't go." The brothers from the Kingdom of Yah over here in England, they said to me, "Don't go," because the war's going on and it's starting. And I'm like, "I'm going, I'm going." They're like, "No, don't go." So I just didn't even tell them, and I just went. Now, the average man would have listened because you never been there before. The average man would listen, but because of my ways, I was a leader on the streets. I wasn't a follower. I didn't want to take no talk from nobody, so I went. That's me being honest. I just went, and if that's my path for me to go, then I'm going to go. But I mean, say go. I mean, if that's path for me transition, then to leave this realm, I'm going to go. But it wasn't that situation. The Most High was with me. So when I went, the day I landed, God knows I'm not lying. The war stopped. As the day I landed, the war stopped. Go off the plane was East Jerusalem. Don't know where I'm at. Don't know nobody. Yeah, is it? I'm still walking around East Jerusalem like I know the place. I can't speak the language. Bear that in mind. I can read Biblical Hebrew. Biblical Hebrew, modern Hebrew is different. But I'm still just bopping, doing my own thing. I bought 1 or 2 African youths, chatting to them. But conversation not really getting nowhere because they speak Arabic, I speak English. All right, cool. No problem. I'm bopping around. Next minute, I get a phone call. No, my phone, because I got English SIM, my phone's not working, innit? So something goes to me, so I take my phone off because it's not working because it's English SIM, innit? So something goes to me, turn it on and turn on that, what's that thing called again, where you can like it allows you to use abroad. I forget what it's called.
Okay, roaming.
Yeah, roaming. I tell my roaming on. So one bag of things flood in. I know I'm gonna get billed for this. I don't care. Next minute, I get a phone. I look at one on my message. I thought, is his number? I listen to the message. Hey, bro, I hear you. You know the Mona guys. They got American accent. Hey, bro, I hear you. You know you here. The brother said that you came. Man, we would love to have you down there. Pack up my bag and flew straight to the Mona. You get me? So the point I'm making, I didn't even know no one had to jump in a cab. I don't know the people. I'm saying, this is where I want to go. I'm talking to my list. I want to go here. They know I'm talking. East Jerusalem, the Arab man don't know what I'm saying. So this is where I want to go. So I'm just with this man. I don't know where he's taking me. I know I want to go, but I'm not getting this still. But the point I'm saying is, if I had that,
you're paying for all this yourself, aren't you? Nobody's funding you.
No one's ever funded me for anything I do in life.
All right.
The Most High funds me. You get me? In the sense that I do everything myself. Yeah, I would love my community to support me. I would love that. But I don't have to sit and wait on community. Because like I said, when I was younger, anything I wanted in life, I did it in the wrong way and got it. So right now, all that life is dead. New me. So
you fly down to Dimona. What happened?
Yeah, I went to Dimona, and from there, I just made my first documentary because I started talking to Dimona guys, and I met some. It's like everybody I met just fell in love with me. I went to Dimona. The people in Dimona fell in love with me. They took me to some Bedouin communities. The Bedouin communities, they fell in love with me. In fact, the Bedouins then fell in love with me so much that I became literally family. I got adopted by a Bedouin family out there. Do you get me? That kind of situation, like not physically, but it's like your family now. I went to meet Ali Jeddah. Like, yo, I love you, man. Like, you look like my people. Like, and everyone keeps saying to me, I look like them. But bear in mind, my family is mixing Jamaican, Syrian, Cuban, and Indian. So I do have, family from that region anyway. But I look like a lot of the Black Palestinians. So it's like they just fell in love with me, and from there it was just love between me and them. And first documentary film. I know that time I'm not documentary filmmaking now, but when I was in prison, I told myself I'm gonna prove to all the people in prison that Black people are still there because they believe me that when I was in prison, I was telling everybody that I'm an Israelite because when I start telling people in prison I'm an Israelite and my name around prison is Israel, and then my name around prison is Hebrew, and everybody in Jamaica was talking about like in prison, shall I say, and people were sending out, with even people out of row were saying, "Who's this guy in Hebrew? Who's this Hebrew guy in prison? Who's the Hebrew guy in prison?" Because I actually spread my book is powerful. Like I spread the Hebrew word in prison hard. You get me? And then so it's like, remember I went there Rasta and I came out like this was preaching the Hebrew thing in there. So I told them I was in prison that I'm gonna prove to you lot say that black people are still there, because they knew that what I was saying was biblical was right, but because on TV when I was in prison we only could see
pale face,
Jews, white Jews and white Arabs, So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna prove it though, I said one day I will prove it, and by the grace of the Most High, I did. 2012, I'm in Jamaica. not Jamaica. I'm in Israel. I'm filming people. I'm not filmmaker. I don't know nothing about filmmaking. Never been filmmaking school. Don't know nothing about anything. All I just got a camera. I'm filming people, and then I bring back to England. I have a little guy that my nephew's best friend. He's an Irish guy. He helped me to edit. He showed me how to edit, and I started going from there. Put it together, and then that's it. Northeast Africa was made, and then from Northeast Africa, I just didn't look back. I went back to Israel, and then made Secret of the Desert with Sheikh Ayed. Like I said, it become like family. Sheikh Ayed, and I did.
So what was the second documentary called?
I think it was Secret of the Desert. I did Secret of the Desert. I never remember because I done so many. I think it was Secret of the Desert. I was Secret of the Desert or Hearts in the Bedroom, one or two. That's when I went back. I was flicking with the Bedouin them a lot still, which is which people say the Arabs, the Muslims. Mm-hmm. But then again, that's another concept again, because I don't want to go into it right now. But what is the true Arab? What the Arab word Arab means is another story, because we know from Hebrew the Arab word Arab actually means mixed. I mean, more than actually, So the concept of Arab again is a misunderstanding of the knowledge on history of culture, but that's another story. So I say the words is in a big confusion right now, but cool. I won't even go into all that right now. But what I'm saying is, so I did that, and then I went into then I did the Hearts of Bedouin. Then I did what else I do after that? Then I did I did the one called the Parva Plan, which is about the Israelis destroying lands of the settlement of the people. Which again proving the original land belonged to the black people of the region there, because they had all the land titles technically. So in my documentary, you see the land titles were all from the black tribes, and then I did quite a few different documents. I so many documents I've done.
Well, you did something in Egypt, didn't you? You went to Egypt.
I did one in Egypt, which was it wasn't a full documentary. It's more of a testimony of the Hebrew resistance in Egypt. I did that. It was on about the wars in Egypt. That's on my channel. You can find it. It's not a full documentary. That's like a testimony of the wars, that Hebrew presence was there. I done.
And you did one on Morocco.
Yeah, that was Moroccan Jews. Yeah, that's been lately. That's been blowing up because I've been seeing people taking it and taking clips of it and putting on their TikTok and them things there, and and guys got like loads of views on it recently. Someone sent it to me, said to me, oh my gosh, your clip of your document on TikTok. I'm like, is it cool? And they're like, yeah. And people are seeing it. I'm like, it's gone viral by this guy. I don't know who he is, but yeah, he's gone viral by him, that little piece. But on my channel, people really loved it, and Benny as well. He really appreciated it because he was also teaching that as well about about a lot of our people, were in Morocco. And even my DNA, when you look at my DNA, I got Moroccan Jew in my DNA anyway. Because I got DNA, I done my DNA test. I got Moroccan Jews in my DNA test. So
even the Apocrypha teaches that Hannibal the Great, who was at Carthage, Morocco, that's where it was. So modern day Morocco or Northeast Africa, or North Africa, sorry, that's where Hannibal the Great came from. And all of that is actually in the book of Jasher.
Interesting.
So I thought to myself, when I saw your documentary on Moroccan Jews, I could see where this is going. I can see fathers leading you all over the world. Hebrew community.
That was dangerous. I went to Morocco because remember, Morocco is a very strict country. You cannot take pictures. You can't take pictures of police or nothing, or police in a picture. You can be arrested for that. And when I went there, they said to me, I was filming. I started filming. I just put my camera down, started my tripod, and I was filming. I didn't even go with the camera crew. I went with myself and somebody else with me. And it was funny because they were like, they're going to call the police, arrest me. I'm like, I'm doing my thing. I'm getting it done. But that's what I said to you. I know why my spirit's how it is. Like, I'm a very humble guy. But if I've got to do something to the Most High, I don't care what you put before me in it. Like I'll do jail time, I'll do anything. I've got to do what the Most High wants me to do first. That's my character. I'm just very strong like that. And they said to me, "No, we're gonna do like you can't do this." I'm like, "Is it?" And the avant-garde, when the people left, the avant-garde who controls the place, he goes to me, "I just like your vibes, bro." And that's why in my documentary he speaks, and he says, and he speaks in French. And he said that in French he says it's the Israelites and the Black Arabs praying together, because he explained to me what the pictures were, and he said to me, "No, I can't show my face though, because if I show my face, that I'll be in real problems." You know, because he says, "Yeah, I shouldn't be telling you they're talking this, because that again would be a problem for me. If I show my face, oh my God." And I said, "No, don't worry, don't show your face, just say it, just speak for me." He said, "No, your voice." So like, I put myself in that. People understand that level that I would put myself in for that documentary to do that one. Still, that could have been me getting banged out still in the Morocco. But you know, I had to do it, bro. Like, there's no way I couldn't do it. My spirit was led to do it. I had to do it. It had to be done. You get me? So
You have to go to Spain and Portugal and do them too, man.
yeah, no. Well, that's a part of the process. I want to go to Spain and Portugal. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Believe me, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. But you know, again, it's financial struggle as well, because I work 2-3 jobs at time sometimes to make my money to do what I do. But like I said, I don't really sit down on the community. I'm not saying if the community will support me, that'd be great. But I can't sit down and wait on people. That's just not my style, my mindset. You get me? But I do believe, yeah, it would be great to have the community support. You know what I'm saying? That's
But
why
you have all these documentaries that you've done, and you paid for them yourself,
of course.
and you made them free to our people.
Yeah, of course. It's what you're supposed to do, really. You get me? It's like knowledge. It's like a give back. I'm learning, and when I'm learning, I want to share what I'm learning with people. You get me? So that's something that's in my heart. Like, I got a documentary. I'm supposed to go to, for instance, Morocco. I won't even say how much thousands of Morocco cost me. But yeah, plus you got to think about the editing process. Well, I edit a bit, but I'm not the main editor. I got editors that work with me. So you got to think about the whole process, everything, how much it costs, flight, hotels, all these kind of things. You know, it's not cheap. Do you get me? Then the editing process and everything. Plus, not to mention the camera equipment. Like my camera.
Give us a ballpark figure of how much a trip, that kind of filming project takes. Give us a ballpark figure. I know you can't give us an exact figure. About
thousands. Just say that.
About 2,000, 3,000, 4,000.
No. Because when you think about editing time's gonna cost. Editing itself. I got editors coming in, like before I had some like normal kind of editors, but now my editors are stepped up. You get me? I got to step up my editors and everything there, because you got to step up your works. Editing process alone could cost, between the different editors, maybe cost about bag itself $1,000, and then maybe about $1,000. Then you got to think about grand bit. Then you think about your traveling
hotels between 15 and $2,000.
Hotel fees. Morocco is a cheap place to travel. See, Morocco, you get there for about 200 quid. It's not expensive. So it's 400 quid for 2 people. But in a hotel, spend a week out there, week and a bit. Your hotel's gonna cost you about $1,500 or so. Like about a couple of, I'm saying grand. Like, I don't like to have money. You get me?
It's about, let's say it's about $3,000 to $5,000. Okay,
yeah.
Something like that.
From Morocco, but for other documentaries, it might even cost more. But
okay,
yeah.
I got it. Just trying to get an understanding. So now, in terms of your books, let's move on to that. How many books have you done?
I've done 3 books before this one. This is my 4th book.
This is your 4th book.
Yeah, I've done a poetry book, a romance novel. I'm a romantic, you know, that romance novel. And I've done, come on, romantic.
We can tell from the amount of children, the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, I'm romantic still. You get me? I always make the good decisions in life, in every aspect of myself. And I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit down and sound perfect, but I'm a very loving guy. I'm a very caring guy. Man's
so you got 3 books.
3 books.
One on poetry. What's the other 2 on?
One's a romance novel. One's a poem book about relationships in life. You know, where I analyze my own self and things that I would like in life. That's my poetry book. And my romance novel is really one about the romance that I'd like. You know, the way I look at romance and how life should be. And then my
your 4th one's gonna be
my album's called I'm a Gun. Basically, it's about gun violence and them things. It's about, you know, psychological impact gun violence has in our community, in the Black community global. Which is technically talking from a gun perspective. I turned that into an animated movie, which I haven't released yet, and that cost money. I made a 3D animated movie, full-length movie based on my book, hasn't released yet. The trailers on my website. under the I Am projects, but I haven't released it yet. And made then my fourth one is called Incarceration JA. It's about my life in Jamaica prison, but I go back and forth explaining what I went through, the traumas and tribulations that I've been through, the psychological way I was thinking back in as a youth, and the dysfunctional mindset, which again affects what you can see many young people today. But the aim of it isn't to glorify what I've been through, but really to enlighten people to what we go through and how it can relate to our current situation, that not just my own life, but in other people's lives. How we look at things, how we deal with things, how we deal with ourselves, how we deal with even the way I was dealt with by my stepfather, how men and women can look at themselves in their own relationships. Do you get me? Look in other people. These are the kind of this is what I need. This is, for me, it's important to start awakening our people, because you have many people even say, they're conscious, but are they awoken? You get me? And that's another thing. So it's like, you find a lot of troubles in our community. Like I said, I'm not a perfect guy, but believe me, coming from where I'm coming from, I'm in a much better place, and I want to see my people in a better place mentally, because no matter how much money you have, that can't really help you in a sense. That's why for me, giving away documentary thing is not everything. It's not a biggie for me. Yeah, I haven't made my money back from none of the documentaries. I won't even pretend like I have. I'm not even gonna front. It's like I literally work my couple 2-3 jobs, as long as my kids are sorted out and I got money put down to, take pay bills and look after my family. And if my kids want anything, that they got that is good, got them. The rest of that I put towards projects and stuff I do for young people and for the community, because for me it's so important the community understand that I'm not here, as Bob would say, soon we'll find out who the true revolutionary is, in it. I don't want people to be tricked by mercenaries. You get me? I'm not here to look money for my people. I'm not here to give to my people.
Well, can you give us an example of some young people's life that you have helped to make a difference?
Over the last 2-3 months, I've got 30 young people into employment, and I'm talking about EDAT jobs. Like, I'm not disrespect, every job is a job in it, but I'm not. But it's always the money. I mean, I've got young people into things like special education needs teacher assistants, which they can work their way up to become a teacher. Got them into working the SAS badge, so they can go into security, the CCTV. I've got them into construction, get the CSC cards. Like, I personally work alongside an organization who pays for these things, and I source the young kids for them to get the young kids off the streets. So that's what I've done for them. And I got contract with them. So what I do, people contract me for different things, in it. Some might contract me to do workshops. People might contract me to do outreach, which I do for this organization. I'm out there reaching young people for them. I work in a youth club in South London. I do different things to bring in money. I work like a madman. I personally train as well. I do boxing, kickboxing. Depends on the young person I work with. The training might get really intense, because it helps to build his confidence. At the same time, talk to him about molding himself and finding his best ability, understand his passion, because I feel in this society we live in, we're never taught about our passions. And I keep saying every day and everywhere I go, I tell people we're never taught about our passions. Passion is something that many parents, no disrespect to parents, but we don't push. When we look at the scriptures now, your character is always pushed by the forefathers. They push your character, but we don't push our characters. We do not push a person's character. Like, if a person's a good footballer, a little boy's good footballer, he's got the abilities of football, and he's got a left and a right leg, a left and right feet. He ain't got 2 left feet or 2 right feet. He's got proper good feet. Parents don't really push that. Like, I was a footballer when I was younger, innit? My mum, with her love for me, forget my stepfather, I don't even talk about that. I waste man that. My mum, with her love for me, she didn't nurse my football abilities. Do you get me? Like, I could bang goals on it all day long, and I was a bad boy defender. Even when I came out of prison, I played against Queen's Park Rangers football clubs coaches, because I used to coach for Queen's Park Rangers myself anyway. And I was still banging. They still couldn't get past me. Like, I've always been a good baller. That's just me from my youth. But that wasn't nurtured. And a lot of parents sadly don't nurture our kids. We don't nurture our kids. And not because we're bad parents, because the way we think about life. The system taught us how to nurture, or tell us the importance of nurturing a child's skills. We're taught to train up a child the way it should go, you should not depart from it. But at the same time, it tells you about, it's good to make sure that you look at the ability of a child. You name a child, you give a child a name basically on the character of a child, right? So when you think about it, that's looking at the child's you're nurturing a skill of that child and what the child's supposed to be like. But we don't do that. We naturally, this ain't bad in the parent. I'm saying this again, I don't judge parents. I'm not here to judge no one on foolish judge. I'm about And even though people say we can't judge, of course we can judge. There's law says we can judge. But I'm not here to judge nobody in a negative way. It's more about letting us realize where we're going wrong as a people and how we can wake up and do better. Like, nurture your child's skills, because most parents would tell a child, yo, go do like, you know, you're playing football, your mom like, come in, you got to do your homework or school tomorrow, or you get me, you focus on that. And it's cool, but schools only teach your child to be a robot, to just follow what they want to do. Just it's programming, pre-programming. There's nothing from within coming out. It's everything that's going in. So it's literally killing your natural creativity anyway. So I would say nurturing a child's skills is so important. It's more important than even the books. And I'll say that with respect. I'm not saying don't educate me, don't send child to school. I'm not saying that's ignorance. What I'm saying is, if you nurture child's skill at the same time you nurture child's skills, that child in turn will naturally rise their education anyway. Because if a child's really happy with what's going on with their skilled life and you're developing that skilled life, you can is by using the right words, you can actually, as I say, life is the power of the tongue, in it. You can actually nurture. By my child feels real good, and like my daughter's a dancer, innit? She loves dancing. She smashed my TV, put a hole for my TV. God above knows I'm not lying. She put a hole for my TV because she had more control dancing. And she come in the room and saying, Daddy, my TV, what's up, girl? What's up? What happened to her sister? She goes, no, my TV, your TV, I broke the TV by accident. I said, what happened? She goes, big hole in my TV, camera, the controller for my TV. I said, don't worry, what happened? She said to me, before I tell you what happened, I said, don't worry, I goes, what happened? She goes, I was doing a new routine. That's it. I don't even bother angry from there. I didn't even bother. I said, is it? I said, show me the routine. She's like, what? Like, I said, what's your routine? I said, let me see TV, come. Show me TV. I said, what routine she's showing you? She goes, and that's what I feel. I said, that's really good routine. Don't worry about that. We're getting new TV. And I just got a new TV. You know, got to make it, save a little money and bought the TV back. But the point I'm making is, it's material. It can build back. I'm not gonna down her skills and her ability. That happened to me. Not that my mom did it in a bad way, but we need to, as parents, need to know that when a child has a gift for certain things, nurture it. I have a little one loves football. I encourage her. Mom going to football and she loves it. Go do it. Like, we have to nurture child's abilities. When we nurture child's abilities, every other aspect of their life will nurture too, because they're happy. They're doing what makes them. They bring out passion. You have no greater. Passion is a powerful source. Remember, we got to understand that the way this thing works, universal law, energy, is important. And when you have like the Bible shows, when the children of Israel went to Egypt, it was a good land, right? When we come out of Egypt, when we went to the Holy Land, it was a good land, right? And then when we started sinning, what happened to the land?
When we leave, the land die.
But when we leave, when we started sinning in the land, it started to die.
Both ways.
Huh? Yeah. When we started sinning in the land, we became barren. So when our vibration is not correct, we affect the earth. When the Bible says, according to Ezekiel, when we start doing right, what happens? It will start, the land will come back good again, right? Our energy, our vibration is important in how we project ourselves. You get me?
I agree with that 100%.
The nurturing of ourselves in this Western world, we have to know how to carry ourselves. Like I said, I'm not a perfect dude, but I'm more clued up now. You get me? Than I ever was before when I was younger. And I'm saying, for me, I always encourage people, like I taught my book, but I break it down more in my autobiography, how I really nurture myself and change myself, and how I believe that people should, do certain things in themselves and even with this around them, because it's so important what we do. Because remember, when we broke Jericho wall down, we broke it one accord. The people's hearts were in line. Their hearts were in line, their spirits were in line, they broke it one accord. So when we're in accord and in sync, and our spiritual vibration is on a different frequency, we're better. Because remember, the more side spirit, the more side the spirit moving upon the water. So we know we're talking about there's an energy there.
Right.
When a man has to line that thing.
We are the living sound weapons. When you read through the Apocrypha, is Jubilees, Jasher, etc., you find out the power of sound, how our forefathers used sound to destroy, to terrify, to break down things, and just literally to win battles. Sound is what we're about, which takes us to the next bit, which is Stephen Graham, the musician.
Lord God.
Tell us about the music.
Yeah, the music thing is again. I've always been to music from when I was a youth. I used to love music. I used to listen to my uncle had a big sound in Jamaica, and I used to love music. I just love music from my youth. I love music. I just love music from my youth, and this Bible says all the way as long as singers and players and instruments, all my springs are in thee. Psalms 87. You know, I love music. Music for me is great. And King David, you know, King David used to play, and his music so sweet. It makes Saul just.
So do you play an instrument?
No, I don't. And I don't actually play instruments.
You sing?
Yeah, of course. I DJ reggae style, Jamaican DJ thing. I do that on hip hop
Oh,
beat. I do on hip hop
so
beat.
you're more like you're on the talking, singing side.
Yeah, I do that, and I do poetry as well. I do spoken word as well. I do spoken word, and I do reggae kind of DJing things still, like, you know, like I got a new tune just recently released in Jamaica. It's doing well out there. And I got some hip hop reggae tunes I've done with some brothers in America, some Hebrew brothers in America. Yeah, and I got some I done over here in the UK. You know, like I do it for myself. Right?
So have you got any albums going on?
No, I just got a few tunes out now, but we're gonna work on an EP still. Like I got a new tune now. I got a new tune now. I'm working on right now, and we're gonna work on an EP right now to push an EP. So yeah, I got that in the pipeline. Like a lot of things doing and everything. I own my own studio as well. So
you own your own studio?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that, my brother. You know. Well, we'll talk another time. It's good. It's good to hear. So you write music.
Yeah.
You do spoken word poetry, and you do a bit of you do a bit of what we would call rapping, but Jamaican style.
Yeah.
You have anything you can just break out now? Can you break out anything a moment?
I remember what you say.
Lyrics.
I remember what you say. If I remember the lyrics, I said, wash away my sin, purify my soul. Yah is in control. Wash away my sin, purify my heart. I'm in love with this fresh start. Where them I look for the nago see, no longer Stevie. Tata dash that till I've just set my soul free. You see me, I say?
Yeah. Yes. So you got the vibe going on, my brother. You got the vibe. Yeah. I can hear the rhythm on the inside, and I don't hear it on the outside.
You can remember the heartbeat. You have the heartbeat and the blood going through the body is like the look. You get me? So we have the instruments playing inside my body still when I'm moving. So it's all good still.
Well, let me just take a moment out. Folks, remember this is Stephen Graham. Big him up, and make sure if you have some questions that you start asking your questions and posting them if you haven't done so already. We really appreciate you being with us, and that you will share the link with your friends. Let them know what's happened, and this is his life. He's giving you the real stuff. The man, the documentary, the music, the youth. He's got involvement with youth. He's got involvement with music. And of course, he has got other projects because he's not one-dimensional. He is multifaceted. So what's the other projects? What other projects are you into?
I've got quite a lot of projects going on. Like I said, I've got the anime movie hasn't released yet. I do kickboxing projects as well in the community where I teach kickboxing.
How long is the kickboxing course for you?
It's not really like a course. It's like I do a lot of one-to-ones kickboxing. I've got like a little, and I do sometimes. I used to do groups. I'm going to start back doing groups again because of COVID. Of course, that stopped. But I have like a group of people in the community, like say 10, 15, sometimes 25 people, and then just doing kickboxing, teaching them basic kickboxing skills. I love doing it. I especially like focusing on the fitness side of it because I've got a qualification in MMA fitness, which is mixed martial arts fitness. So I like to help people, to get themselves fit. Even though with COVID, I won't lie, I wasn't training as much. I was really focusing on just writing because I took that time out to write a lot. COVID was actually good for me. I made it beneficial. I wrote a lot, and I prepared for a lot of documentaries that I had in the pipeline to do. So I made preparation for those as well, which was really good. But for me, it's
other projects.
Yeah. I've got other projects. I have a documentary coming out. I've got a documentary about the truth about the children of Israel in Arabia, because a lot of people know about that history. Because we look at the Lemba tribe. And we look at the Lemba tribe, when you look at Lemba in South Africa, they say they traveled through Arabia. They didn't travel through Egypt, they traveled through Arabia, down into Arabia, Ethiopia, and come across. And if you understand the history of Ethiopia and ancient Israel, it goes back for a very long time. People, not just Solomonic line, you've also got the Zagwe dynasty with the King of Lebela. And they also claim Israelite lineage through Moses and Zipporah. Then you've got And then if you understand the history of Arabia and Ethiopia, you know, actually Arabia fits in Ethiopia like a glove. You know, and if we go to the history of the children of Arabia, you know that the place they call Medina today was known as Yithrib, and it was known as a big Israelite settlement after the Second Temple destruction. A lot of Israelites went to Arabia.
It was a Jewish settlement before it ever became a Muslim place.
Yeah,
that's right.
So a lot of people understand the history of Arabia regarding the children of Israel. So I'm doing a documentary on that just to kind of unleash something that people don't know about, because a lot of people don't know about the history of it. Like they know about Abraham and Noah's doers, not Abraham, our forefather Abraham, but Abraham, one king, and the Noah's doers. And you know, there's a lot of history they need to understand about, even like the Beni Sata tribe and the Beni Ninja tribe. Beni Ninja tribe is a tribe was actually a Judean tribe. In fact, they actually stem from the house of David. You know, so there's a lot of things that I'm going to unleash in this documentary. Just, you know, give me a little historical facts about that. What in that Arabia, in the Arabian Peninsula, you know, the children of Israel's presence. You know, our contributions in that era. You know, our fundamental contributions are that there's a lot of things, because we got to bear in mind as well. Our forefathers, as we know in the book of, I think it's, what book is it? A book of forefathers. Ezekiel says as well. Ezekiel says they're killing all our prophets. Ezekiel said they're killing all our prophets and they want to kill me too. Yeah, when Ezekiel ran, the time Ezekiel ran, I think he ran to I forget where he ran to. I can't remember where he ran to. I think he ran to I don't remember where he ran, but Ezekiel, when he was running to the kill our prophets, they killing all the prophets. They want to kill me too. And
it may be Jeremiah. He ran down into Egypt.
Yeah, Ezekiel ran still. Ezekiel ran. No, Ezekiel ran.
Okay.
Ezekiel. But what I'm saying is, I can't remember, I'm just trying to remember where he ran to, but it was Ezekiel. But what I'm saying, he started in Beersheba and he ran. Not Ezekiel. Sorry, not Ezekiel. I mean Elijah. That's what I meant. Elijah ran. Elijah said that
Elisha and Elijah ran.
Yeah, not Elijah. Elijah ran. And then what's the name? If I remember correctly, it was Elijah. By the way, I know, so I can't remember. Someone ran. I got so much in my head. Sorry, but I'm thinking
Elijah did run. He did run, and then he thought that there was nobody else but him as a prophet.
I
actually kept 1,000 of them in a cave just for me.
Yeah, so because it must have said Elijah, because our forefathers I got up to no good many times, you know, and instigated a lot of things, and there's a lot of history about our forefathers instigated a lot of things in Arabia. Just understand, just trust me when I said that our forefathers instigated a lot of things in Arabia. But that's gonna reveal my documentary. It's gonna be such a mind-blowing thing to people. Just to really wake up.
But we got people up in India. We got people in that place that they now have a war going on next to Arabia. What's it called there? Where you got they're Jews.
Afghan?
They're our people.
Where are you talking about? Afghanistan?
No, not Afghanistan.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. It's in the Arabian Peninsula somewhere. And they're also our people. So
what Iraq you mean? Iraq? Because we've got people in Iraq as well.
Not Iraq, but we do have people in Iraq and Iran. And there are a whole heap of people who are Hebrew, but they're just not Israelites.
Yeah.
There are lots of them.
But I'm saying you've got a lot of Israelites in Iraq, in Iran.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
In Iraq and Iran today. They don't know. They don't identify themselves as Israelites. But
they identify most of these people as Arabs or as Muslims for the most part. For everywhere that Islam went, you either convert or dead.
Yeah, everyone did it. Christian did the same thing in it. Christian did the same thing by the sword, but it's all confusion. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of confusion. I don't really go by the modern terminologies of what they've done, and because we know from the whole Christendom confusion. I don't really go by the terminology what they use. I more look at the historical things. I'm a more historical person to see what happened, predate the Christianity and predate the Islamic confusion what man created, because man created their own confusions.
Well, we appreciate your love for history, especially Black history. And that's something that I know Yah's going to use you in more than he's ever done before.
You know what though? I want to say it's not even just it's Black history, but it's not just Black history still, because we have to kind of get away from the constructs that they speak as well. And this is what I'm trying to heal from the constructs, because I get you when it says Black history, because Israel and that was a Black nation to begin with, but when we look at the scriptures, we fought against the Canaanites who were also black. You know, there's no doubt about Canaanites weren't black. They were also black. Even
and we intermarried with them in many cases. Yes, we intermarried with Canaanites quite a bit.
But even forget about them intermarried. Just naturally, we were supposed to fight against them anyway. The Hivites, the Hivites. Look, the most I said we were supposed to destroy them from the beginning. Remember, we didn't destroy them, but you know, we were supposed to. So we've always been fighting one another as. So I wouldn't even go just on a black term. I always tell people straight, I'm a pro-Israelite more than pro-black. You get me? I'm more pro-Israelite, even though I dove in Christianity, Judaism, Quran, I dove in everything, but I'm more pro-Israelite because to say I'm pro-black again, it gets confusion then because you then start kind of dealing with the construct of the society, the modern construct.
I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. I get it.
I like to push the historical truth more than anything else because I want to educate everybody. The shift that has happened in the universe, according to Isaiah, it says the Gentiles shall wait for the light. The Gentiles, the light shall be even to the Gentiles. So the most of the Messiah is going to come and he's going to humble all nations with his wisdom and knowledge. You get me? You can't just be for the black. He's going to humble everybody. But then his people, as the Israelites, will feel the most gloriousness of it. Because imagine we know by the book of Isaiah, he says that when the Messiah comes, you know, even the Gentiles, Isaiah 11, you look at Isaiah 42, Isaiah, I think it's 49, 60, they all show you that, you know, the Gentiles, they will seek after the light. The nations will seek the laws. So we don't say the laws, the nations, all the nations will seek the Most High. Who don't seek the Most High will get destroyed. But you get me? So for me, it's like, it's a joy to be an Israelite. And like I always look at myself as not better than nobody else, but more like King David. We look at himself as a humble servant. You get me? Like King David, look when his two warriors and brought the water for David. Remember when they brought the battlefield of the Philistines? Yeah. And then David goes and boom. They brought the water back to David, and that was, you can say, like a first operation where you pour out the water, because David's like, I can't drink this. You get me? You risk your life like that for me. I can't drink it. In his righteousness, that's for me, that's understanding righteousness. Like he understood there's more to it than just himself. And I feel when we look at it and say, you know, like just even being Israelites, or just both, like being both as Israelites, or even just looking too much on just being pro, like too much focus on just being black, we kind of remove the beauty of what we are, our forefathers did, or who our forefathers are. Because remember, we was never chosen because we are righteous. We were chosen because of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, their righteousness. Because Israelites, God doesn't say it really with stiff necked. In fact, he told Abraham, "No one sure your seed shall be afflicted." So the Most High knows everything. See, he already knew that our people, we're gonna be do some dumb stuff,
going through some troubles.
Yeah, he already knows that we're gonna do some dumb stuff. And Isaac, Jacob, where he said Jacob as well, that your seed shall be the east, west, north, and south. And some people misinterpreted that and think that's happened. That's about us doing Egypt. No, it's not, because when he said to Jacob, your seed shall be in the east, west, north, and south, then he states to them that it's that what does it say? Scripture say exactly word to word, but technically he shows them that I'm gonna bless them after that, innit? So for Jacob seed to be east, west, north, and south, that's not just talking about whole land, that's scattering, innit? So Jacob already knew as well. Our forefathers knew that we're gonna be all over the place. You get me?
Scattered to the four winds.
Yeah. So
Deuteronomy 28:64.
It's never our righteousness, but the rest of our fathers, isn't it? But amongst the seed, there's a spiritual blending inside the children. That's how I said that the DNA, the blood is powerful, because no Abraham seeds, it's in Abraham seeds the covenant, and no Abraham seeds are chosen. You get me? But the scripture makes it very clear that, I mean, I said all Abraham seeds, I mean not all Abraham, all Isaac, all Jacob seeds. I'm talking the children of Israel, not all Israelites are chosen. But within the children of Israel, there's a set of Israelites that will rise up in that time who have that divine understanding of what needs to be done and shall fulfill. You get me? That's why I said every scripture says, many are called, but few are chosen. You get me? Even Revelation that many have called, few are chosen, because not every Israelite is chosen. Because we have to remember, you cannot serve the Most High with a heavy heart in it. It's scripture, that's why God said, love David. Apart from what he done with you, right? The most God said he never turned left or right. He walked that straight path. You get me? That's a straight path.
Your heart's got to be right. Your heart's got to be right.
Yeah, you got to be right. So I know. So that's why I said I like to focus on this. I'm pro-Israelite. So therefore, I'm not no racial for no reason. I'm just Israelite.
Got that. What difference do you want to make
in
terms of your life, your goals? If you have some goals that you don't mind sharing, you know, say we look in 3 years in the future, what difference do you want to see behind you?
What difference? Well, I just want to continue touching hearts in people. I want to continue doing what I'm doing right now. Because I get every day I get texts from people or emails, people saying they love the documentary I'm doing and the things I'm doing, and it's helping their lives. That's why for me, I continue to do what I'm doing because it's priceless. If I can touch somebody's art, then that's the greatest thing in the world. Because what's more beautiful than touching someone's heart? You get me? I could sit down and drive a big car, and just live for myself. But what's the sense in that? As Solomon says, it doesn't make no sense in it because you can have all the wealth you want, and the next minute you die and leave to somebody else who just waste your things. So I'm not into that. I wanted us to keep touching hearts. That's number one. So my aim is to keep making more documentaries, write more books, inspire more people, and in 3 years' time, I want to be the best version of me I can be. Before anything else, before even anything else, I want to be the best version of me. Because only I can save my own soul anyway. As much as I like to touch people's heart, I love to help people because what comes from out touching of my heart, I want to be the best version of me though first. Because mastering of me, really understanding who I am, really divinely connecting myself to my God, you understand? There's no great thing I could do. So for me, the best thing I could do for next 3 years, you want to see a better version of Stephen Graham. Better version of Stephen Graham.
We should all have a better version of us. That would be great.
But that's the key. That's the first thing. Better version of Stephen Graham. Keep touching hearts and keep doing documentaries, and most I'm willing. I find the right people to work with as well. Because I'm trying to find the right people to work with. Because a lot of people have come to me in the past to want to work, but their concept and their mindset isn't really what aligns with mine. So I kind of not do that. You get me? Like I said, I'm not a person who's really I'm not money orientated in the sense like. But I know money needed, but I'm not money orientated. I'm not. I'm very straightforward while I doing it. I'm very honest with how I work. Like anybody who's around me will know I'm very honest. And any dishonesty, I move it up. I don't play those games. You get me? I'm not that type of guy. I don't do dishonest things that don't make no sense. And it's just a waste of time. You get me? I just like everything just to be right, and the more time bless it. And even like I said, even though my documentary might not be seen by everybody now, some people see it, some people don't see it. It's like the guy who took my thing on TikTok, he's put it all over the place. Viral, that's great. You never know when your thing spread. You get me? But just do it from your heart and just leave it to the Most High for go on. You can plant the seed and let the Most High, he will nourish everything you're doing. You get me? So that's how I do it. But next couple of years, the best version of me, more documentary, more films, music, everything. I have a little secret, but it's me and the Most High still where that one will stay to the Most High. Me and the Most High would know this. What I want the next 3 years still. I want to see, but it's all about happiness still. For me, it's happiness. Life's about happiness. If I'm not happy, then it don't make sense. Why am I living for B-side? It don't make sense. Because peace, innit? You have to have peace. Peace is the best thing in life. So
okay. Well, there are people watching this documentary interview of your life.
Yeah.
And they're wondering, some of them are saying, well, I want to be like that. Some of them are saying, boy, it's too late now, I'm too old, and so on.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to the young people?
What kind of old? Abraham was how old when Abraham was blessed by the Most High God, but Abraham was how old when he first have children? What kind of old? That's my people. Listen, the faith must ask. That's why I want to build a me. We have to build our faith, because that's key now. Building our faith, our inner strength in the Most High, having that inner joy. Because you can never be too old. Can never be too old to do and be the best version of yourself. That's impossible. And we need to know that even if a person can walk, can talk, you can still be the best version of yourself. Because it's about your thought pattern and what you're thinking and how you're developing. Because you bear in mind, you have to remember, that connection with you and the Most High isn't just when the Bible says that a man who meditate, like it says, blessed man that walk not in the counsel of ungodly, no stand up for your sinners, no sit in the seat of scornful, but his delight is in the Lord, and in the Lord if you meditate day and night. He shall be like a tree that planted by rivers that bring a fruit in his season. His leaf shall wither, whatever you do shall prosper, but ungodly not so, but like a chaff and drive away. Therefore, ungodly stand in judgment, no sin in the congregation of righteous, for know the way of the righteous, but the way the ungodly shall perish. But for being a minor, that the verse that I love, one of my favorite Psalms, that
Psalms 1.
Meditation, when you have daily thoughts of happiness and joy will always bring forth your things to flourish now. And remember, it says in his season, your season. You just need to find your happiness and your joy. Don't worry about your age or where you're at in life. You seek your happiness and your joy. And in your season, everything will flourish. The thing is, and I say your season, I don't mean yours, but with the most I desire it for flourish. As I said, with my things, I'm doing nothing. And people say, Jano, you should be a millionaire right now. The amount of stuff you've done, the amount of books you've done, documentaries you give away, people should be giving you this. I'm like, cool. And it's not, when it's your season for this, my things for flourish, it will flourish. Nobody can stop that. You get me? I'm just going to continue to be happy doing what I'm doing. And this is what I tell people, no matter how old you are, how young you are, know what you want. That's why I say, chase your passion. This is my passion. I give up. I can work in a place. I got a degree in musculoskeletal rehabilitation. I can go work hospital today if I wanted to. Be on a band 6 and make some real good money. But I don't care about that. There's days I'll be frank with you, there's days I'm not really working as much. A few personal training clients, or I might have a few things, but you know what? I'm always good. I'm always good. I'm always can pay bills. I'm always good. And the Most High is blessing me. But my happiness is key. That's you can't pay for that. You can't pay for inner joy. You can't pay for true self-love. That's free. You get me? To serve the Most High don't cost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how old you are or young you are, you can do this thing. Like, you have to really want it though. You have to really be, you get me? Like, you have to want to love the Most High. And that's just me. I just want to love the Most High in it. I know, like I said, I've still got things about me. I still can be a bit tuggy. As you can see with my actions, you can see I still got a little road in me, but I'm not road. I got in me, but I'm not road. Yeah, I would never touch the streets again. Like, you know what I'm saying? But now, being honest, like, we just need to find that passion, that love for the things we're, for ourselves. Like I said, like the script says, the greatest commandment, love the Most High with all thy heart. But the second greatest commandment is what? Love the neighbor, love your what? Love your neighbor, all right, like yourself. So you can't love your neighbor if you don't love yourself.
All right. Well, you tell us all the good bits so far, right? But I want to hear about the other stuff.
What's that?
I want, and the guests, our audience wants to hear, what are what challenges have you faced? Because I know it's not been a straight road in terms of you getting all this, getting your documentaries, your music, your etc. etc. You must have had some barriers. Some.
I get barriers all the time. I just told you so. I get financial barriers. You heard me today you heard me today when you was swinging at me. You heard me, I was on the bus, right?
You on the bus, yeah.
Okay. Now I don't drive. I could drive if I want to. I'm not saying I got money in my car, in my bank. I can't do it. I'm not saying I don't. But barriers are it's on here. Your barriers in the ear. Depends on what you call barriers. See, every man look at life different now. This is why I look like I look 19. Because a man can make their barriers, your problems can become a big problem to you, or you can be little bit. It depends on your interpretation of life. Mm-hmm. Now, for me, I live I have a personal look. I'm gonna do something right now. This is a personal studio in my house. I have a personal studio in my yard, right? Mm-hmm. I have an edit suite in my house. I have a proper studio as well. Now I can do two things. I can look at like this, right? I can look at this like this. I can say, everything I need, I've been able to buy and have around me. Yeah. And this is how we construct how you think. What you really need, you go for. People like to do what they want. We live in a society where you want this, you want that. What do you need? So your barriers may not actually be barriers. It depends on your mindset. So I will save and struggle for what I need to do, things I want to do. Now, I'm not going to try to live outside of means that I don't really understand and don't really get, because our forefathers told us we don't do that. We don't post that. Because remember, Abraham, when the man then come with Abraham brought back Lot from the slaughtering, Abraham said, I'm not taking no money from them people. Remember the man then want to offer Abraham some things after he brought back Lot. Abraham said, I don't want for you lot. You go on your easy in it. You go on your thing and your way. I'm good enough. So we have to know what we were doing, innit? So
what have your specific challenges been then?
Financially, it's been my specific challenge.
Only in the financial field you've been challenged.
Street life, come on! I'm here talking to youths on the streets. I've been challenged where I've had a possibility where I could have had to get dark on a youth. You get me? I've had that challenges, but I've enjoyed myself. Where I can say to myself, I was once there where this person was. I've been dealing with young people where, it's kind of gotten peaky. I'm trying to stop two set of youth from beefing, set of friends of youth, and man's like, big man, yeah, what blood, where, but man ain't taking no talk for you. I'm like, well, yeah, what? But you're gonna have to do what you have to do in it. But I've gone through my fair share of situations. I talk about it in my book, but I don't go into details. I just say my book. I put myself in predicaments where I could have been not here doing this documentary with you right now, this interview right now. I could have been back inside because, but then that goes becomes my pride and my ego because I know that really your mindset is where you're at in the streets. I used to be there, and I understand the trauma you're going through. Now, someone who you can never get rid of trauma, but you can learn to deal with the trauma. I've learned to handle my trauma and deal with my traumas. Again, scripture talk about the blessings and the curses. Your curses are your traumas. The blessings are how you deal with your traumas. It reflects and changes. Common sense. Now, I know how to deal with mine. I could have still dealt with the youth them in a certain manner and get aggressive, and anything can happen. Because now I went to prison for manslaughter. I got prison for murder. I dropped to manslaughter. So I'm capable of doing. I'm capable of going there and beyond. Let's keep it 100. Do you get me? I'm capable of going there and beyond. But that's not me. So before that,
what's the major change you've had to make?
Huh?
What's the major change that you have had to make outside of your spiritual commitment to Yah?
Major change. There is no major change outside of Yah. Because everything I do is pertaining to Yah. I can't think of you have to explain how you mean that. Because whether I'm changing from, I'm still around the youth in the streets, but I project myself differently when I deal with them. I don't go down to the level, and if I do, I'm not going to the level to join them. I'm going to the level to bring them up into a level that I need to speak to them at. I'm not. So I face challenging all that aspect every day. But I got a lot of love from the streets. A lot. If you come around my blocks, you see that the youth I'm loving around my blocks. I face challenges with my love for women. I'm a man. I'm a good-looking guy. I get a lot of women. I'm articulate. I'm articulate. So I can get. It's not that hard to get a woman. You get me? But it's about finding the right type of woman. Does that make sense? Like it's about having that compatibility, that spiritual compatibility, and understanding of the Most High. I get challenges in many ways, but it's all everything in my life is engulfed in the Most High. So I can't see nothing outside of the Most High. I see it all within the Most High. Whatever comes at me, I have to realize that things will come at you in many shapes and forms and ways. But everything is about what is your devotion to. Like I said, I could step back to the streets. I could step back to somebody who steps to me wrong. Or I could swallow my pride and say, that guy doesn't really know what he's doing. And I understand that he doesn't know what he's doing or she doesn't know what he's doing. So I'm not going to come at them in a way because I know that they're in a certain place. Before that, I show them love. And before I know it, me and that guy now we're friends. And he's like, blood, I admire you. And then with it's happened to me where I work with young people in the area and they don't know me. They don't know nothing about me. I've gone to the area that I work with them. They don't know about my background, nothing. And when they realize, blood, if I knew it was you now, right, your youngers would have, like, they know certain man would have, be like, blood, we know certain people would defend you. Do you get me? But I'm like, I wouldn't even call them anyway. Say, we're friends now, but they're like, blood, imagine if things happen, your people would have said, no, but I goes, bro, but even if it did happen, I wouldn't even call nobody. I'm not that guy. Like, I'm not removed away from that mindset. I'm not that guy. You get me? So it depends on you. Do you get me? Like, it depends on, for me personally, everything for me is with the Most High. But
all right, that's good. So what do you like the most or least in your life now?
What I like the most, I like me.
And what do you like the least? Don't say other people.
Other people? No, man, I love other people. What I like the least in my life? Me again.
So you like you the most and you like you the least. You better explain that one. Because that's just a mind bender.
I like me the most, yeah. Because where I'm coming from, I look at the beautiful things that I've been through and I've done. And I like where I'm coming from. But I like me the least. Because I know the spiritual warfare that's going on within myself. And I know what I need to overcome.
No, that's an honest appraisal. That's honest. Huh? That's keeping it real.
Yeah. Watch this now. See, the reality of life, like I said to you, only you can master yourself. You know, the Bible tells you, no man judge for your sins and you can't judge for next man's sins. Everything's about you, innit? So my greatest battle isn't a man out the road. It's always me. And I know the things in my life that I've done in the past. And I've kept to myself. I can't talk about it. It's common sense. You can't talk to nobody about it because it's just man ain't doing it. See, I'm never going to go no further for saying that. I'm just saying, like, street life, innit? Growing up as a youth, street life. But at the same time, there's certain things about myself I still want to master. I still want to become the best of myself. I still there's certain things that I want to really do, and I'm just trying to figure out how to make these things become the best. To do these things so I can become the best version of myself. Do you get me? So my greatest battle is me. Never can be outside of me. You get me? I don't see next man's things and worry about that. That don't mean nothing to me. I don't see next gal's things and worry about that. No one don't bother me like what they have or what they're doing. It's what I'm doing, and how do I get from day to day? You get me? Like from day to day. You get me? Say day to day. I mean day to day. You get me? Day to day is just a thing. So yeah, that's that's me. So like, trust me when I say my journey is about me, brother. It's not in a selfish way or in an ego way, neither. I want you to understand. I want no one to listen to me. I think, oh, this ego thing is all about him. No, but about loving me is so important that I can actually really love you. I'm doing what I'm doing. When I was giving all these documentaries and doing all this stuff, even my book, my autobiography, I only put it at $9.99. Everyone says to me, blood, why are you selling for more? You can sell it for £12, blood. Your life is mad. Which English you've been in Jamaica prison and gone through the experience you've gone through? Like Jamaica prison, not like it's not normal. No one actually wrote a full book on Jamaica prison. People wrote a book about, like you wrote a book on certain man from Shah Posse, touch on Jamaica prison, but no one's thought a whole book about Jamaica madness in the prison, plus reflecting on my own personal life in it. But I did that. And I've given away for this and nothing because one, I want to share my experience with people that I can help other people understand their own, that can reflect on their experiences to make them a better person. Two, it's about people understanding that there is like roots and culture as well, because the book talks about that, and that's what strengthened me in prison. So it gives people desire to want to understand, okay, let me try to do my own research about this Israelite roots. So for me, it's like I don't see it in a negative way where I love myself. I see it like, a lot of people tell me, say, yo, but I love everyone you, because you're always positive. Even when things are going wrong with you. Like, I've lost my sister recently. I lost a little one. I lost a lot of things in my life. But you'll never believe it, because I will never. If I don't tell people, they will not see it. They won't see the amount of things I've gone through, because I don't walk with that burden that on my shoulder. Like, I know my sister's ancestor now. She's in my blood, isn't it? She's an ancestor now, so I'm not even stressing. Like, she's here with me. Like, a lot of people will be walk around glooming and mooming, and I've not got time for glooming and mooming in this world. But I'm not saying I don't get sad about certain things, but then I always reflect on myself and look at what is there to keep me going and what's there to keep me happy. And it's that love for the Most High, and there's certain things that's, I guess, that's embedded in my spirit and in the nature of how I've been made. You get me? I just know that. Yeah, my thing is, I say my greatest joy is me in it, and my greatest sorrows is me. It's all me. So it's just about. And it's not a bad thing neither, because bear in mind, a man's weakness is also his strength, if you understand it. Because when you look at this like this, when you look at your sins, or you look at your wrongs, or whatever you want to call it, or your anger, let's keep it easy for listeners then. The most powerful energy you have is, one of the most powerful energy you have is anger. It's a very powerful energy. It has every fragment in your body up. Every cell and molecule rises when you get angry, really angry. But what you do at energy is another thing. Because I remember I said, understand how big a level for me. Why I said it? Let's go scripturally. People have to about battle of good and evil. My time say, yeah, keep your battle of good and evil, innit? Your God and devil battle. Keep it yourself. That's not mine. I don't believe. I don't read that in the Bible. I don't read that in the Bible at all. You read that in the Bible, not me. Because when I read the Bible, I see the Most High has no battle with nobody. God tells the devil what to do. God have a battle with the devil. That don't make no sense to me. Keep your man-made Christianity, Islam, Judaism, ideology to yourselves. That's not me. The Bible tells me that when the devil has to ask God, can I do this? God says, whoa, the devil's coming to take man. The devil don't take God. That don't make no sense to me. Keep your ideology to yourselves. I don't see God have a battle with nobody, because God created all things. God said, I'm a God of good and evil, God of war and peace. God creates all things. So any lower entity like the devil and lower energies that can do things and perform things, they belong to the Most High still. It has no power of the Most High. So I don't see my battle outside of anything but myself. You get me?
So I'd like to thank you, Stephen, for your honest sharing tonight, and let you know that we really appreciate your time that you've given to us. So I want to thank you, and remember those questions, folks. We're still looking for any questions that you may have for Stephen.
Can you give me 2 seconds? Let me go get a copy of my book to show people the book.
Yeah, I'm going to talk anyway. So go and get them while I talk.
All right.
Hallelujah. So, first and foremost, we want to make sure that if you have any questions, that you place them tonight. We're almost at the end of our interview, and so we want to make sure that we can answer your questions if you had any for Stephen and take them on. Remember that coming up soon, real soon, we're going to have some things going on. So we got on the 8th of August, we're going to be going to the seaside, and we may go to baptism before that. So if you want to be baptized in the name of Yahweh, which is the ancient Paleo Hebrew name, and you're in the London area, why don't you write to me, HebrewApostolic@gmail.com. HebrewApostolic@gmail.com. We want to thank Stephen for the time that he has given to us tonight. But, we also want to know if there is anything else that he would like to share with us. And he's just said that, yes, he does. So, Stephen, what else would you like to share with us?
This book here, my new book that has released, Incarceration JA. I'd like people to go and support this book. As you know, I give my documentary for free. But I'd like people to support this book, to buy this book. Not only learn about my life and my tribulations and struggles and how the Most High used me and turn me my life around, but also there's a great and a powerful message for every individual. And I know there's some,
and it's called Incarcerated
Incarceration JA, yeah, Incarceration JA.
Incarceration in JA.
No, this Incarceration JA.
Incarceration JA. I'm just saying that so that our moderators can pick it up.
Cool. And they can find
Incarceration JA. That's better. I can see it.
Yeah.
By Stephen Graham.
Yeah. And they can also find other stuff about me on my website, Stephen Graham Projects.
That's going to be my next one. Is how can people connect with you? So go ahead.
Yeah, my website, StephenGrahamProjects.com. You can find my details there. I'm on my social medias as well, Stephen Graham Projects. My social media, Stephen Graham Projects on Instagram and that. I just joined TikTok, Stephen Graham Projects. I just started that today. And you can find me also anybody's. Do
you have an email that you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, Stephen at Stephen Graham Projects. Everything Stephen Graham Projects. So Stephen
at Stephen Graham Projects.com.
Yeah, projects with the S on the end, projects. And anybody who's interested to get together, collab, do things, I'm definitely up for that. And anybody wants to help me as well regards to the works I'm doing, I'm always up for that as well, definitely.
All right. So if you'd like to get in touch with Stephen concerning his work or a collaboration, then make sure you write to Stephen at stephengraham.projects.com.
If anybody wants to help, everyone just wants to help support what I do, feel like they've got time on their hands, they want to help support, help me build, then please, let me know.
Write to him, talk to him, let him know what it is you want to share or support him in, and then take it from there. Stephen at stephengrahamprojects.com. Projects, plural.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you, Stephen, for your time tonight and your contact information. We surely appreciate you. I don't see any questions whatsoever. So I just want to say thank you, and we stay where you are. We got to just have a little debrief afterwards. But in the meantime, to everybody else, we say thank you for being with us, and we look forward to being with you again soon on Hebrew Interviews. Shalom.
Shalom.
Say bye-bye now.
Shalom, everybody.